Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy CJ Beasley here, back again. Today we have another battle from the RWL. This is week 7. This week we are taking on Master Roshi, the coach of the Aston Villampharos, something like that. I don't know. But like I said in the other battle video, I think this one will be going up second. I hope, if I do that correctly. But like I said in the other battle video, if you didn't check that one out, we are battling him back-to-back weeks, so we are battling him in both of these leagues, which is, or not back-to-back weeks, but the same week in both leagues, which is really odd occurrence, but you know, it just happened to work out that way. So we had to do a double header, and unfortunately why these videos are late is because he couldn't battle until Sunday with that big of a time gap that we needed to battle, which was, it wasn't that big of a deal, it was fine. But I couldn't get these battles recorded until Monday from my battle recorder, because I do obviously post-battle recording, so my recorder wasn't available until Monday, which was fine. So that's, hopefully they are going up to Monday, but I'm recording this right now on Sunday after the battle, the team builder. So anyways, guys, let's hop right into his team. So looking at his team, he has the Landorus, Hydreigon, Chestnut, Salazzle, Sableye, Electrode, Azumarill, Necrozma, Snorlax, Silvally, and Mega Metagross. So just looking at his team, Landorus puts in work, plus the Mega Metagross just absolutely dominate my team. They're really scary combination for my team. So I could definitely have to, I definitely have to watch out for those guys. Definitely scary for my team. Definitely don't feel like handling those, but I obviously have to. Other things I noticed is that Snorlax, a curse set Snorlax, really puts in work here, especially if he gets set up, so I really have to be careful around that. And as well as Azumarill, a Belly Drum Azumarill just is absolutely terrifying for my team, so I definitely want to work around that. As well as Salazzle, it's pretty much pretty fast, so it's kind of scary for my team. But it is as fast as Mon, and if you look at my team, I have 3 Mons that are faster than that in the Jolteon, the Greninja, and the Ribombee. So we pretty much outspeed his entire team with those 3 Mons if we choose to bring them, which we, as you can see right there, we brought 2 of those. But unless there's something Scarf like a Landorus or a Hydreigon or something like that, we will outspeed his entire team. So, which is pretty nice, especially with Greninja having stuff like U-turn or something like that just for momentum is really nice. So anyways, guys, let's stop talking about his team and hop right into mine. So first off, we got Pyro, the Chandelure, with the Choice Scarf, Flash Fire, Shadow Ball, Fire Blast, HP, Ice, and Toxic, with max special attack Modest, 68 special defense and 188 speed. This outspeeds a, what was it? I want to say it was a max speed Salazzle, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's what it was. So let's say that's what it is. So outspeeds a max speed Salazzle, a timid Salazzle, and then obviously I just wanted to dump out the rest in the special attack. So I just maxed out special attack with Modest and just kind of poured the rest into special defense. I didn't really have much to do with those, so I just poured in the special defense just to get a little bit bulkier on that side. Live hits from the Salazzle a little bit better. As we look at my coverage, we see we have Shadow Ball, just to pretty much hit everything that's not named Snorlax, or, well, I guess the Sable I can't switch in either, so pretty much everything that's not Snorlax, as well as Fire Blast. The only thing that really takes Fire type attack moves decently well is the Snorlax, if I'm remembering correctly, or his Water type, like Azumarill or something like that. Besides those two, they don't really like Fire type attacks. And then we have the Hidden Power Ice, obviously, to hit the Hydreigon, because Hydreigon pretty much is a great check to this, as well as the Snorlax. So Hidden Power Ice is to hit the Hydreigon as well as the Landorus, obviously. And Hidden Power Ice 2-shots a Hydreigon, which is super nice. So unless if he's Choice Scarf, I will outspeed him and be able to 2-shot him with the Hidden Power Ice, which is super nice. And then obviously we have Toxic for the Snorlax, and to pretty much hit everything on his team outside of like Metagross or Silvally Steel or Poison or the Salazzle. So this set I expect to do pretty decent work. I'm not super excited to use this. I think it has viability, but the Snorlax just hardwalls it so much, so we'll have to see. But next up we got Deathstroke, my Mega Gallade, with the Gallade obviously with Justified, Zen Headbutt, Close Combat, Knockoff, and Swords Dance, with 4 HP, max attack, and max speed. with a Jolly Nature. This thing is pretty much going to put in work against his entire team outside of the lenders, which is kind of unfortunate, but I really needed the knockoff coverage for the Necrozma, and I needed the Zen Headbutt for stuff like Salazzle and the Chestnut, so I couldn't really afford Ice Punch this week, which was unfortunate, but you know, we got the Zen Headbutt, like I said, for the Salazzle, stuff like Chestnut, stuff like Azumarill, stuff like that. Especially if I can get Sword Dance up, I'll just be putting in work against those things. Close combat is just to hit like Snorlax or a +2 close combat actually Oko's a Metagross, which is pretty nice. So we are banking off of that. And obviously we have max speed to speed time with Metagross after I Mega Evolve and after he Mega Evolves. And then we have the knockoff obviously for the Necrozma, as if he's not like a max HP, max defense set. I will be Okoing him with the knockoff after a Sword Stance, so that is super nice, unless if he's obviously Cold Burberry as well. And so like I said, this is pretty much just going to put in work against his entire team. Not much else to say about this, except I'm just really excited to use this, and Landorus is a big issue for this, but I can knock off his Choice Scarf or whatever it has, or I can learn if he's Z-moved if he has that. So next up, we got Namor, the top affinity with leftovers, Misty Surge obviously with Scald, Moonblast, Haze, and Knockoff with almost max HP, 244 HP, 236 defense, and 28 special defense with a Bold Nature. This is pretty much my primary and my only checks to stuff like Snorlax and the Azumarill. So those things are really big problems, but this is my primary check to those. Scald and Moonblast pretty much hit everything on his team, neutrally at least, if not super effectively. Haze, the Haze slot, it's been a bunch of different things. It was Haze, then it was like Nature's Madness, then we had something else that I can't remember. I think it was like Reflect or something, but we ultimately decided on Haze as a Belly Drum Snorlax. Pretty much just destroys my team if I don't have Haze. And then knockoffs to get rid of like items pretty much on everything, especially the Snorlax and the Azumarill. So yeah, so this set I expect to put in a lot of work. It's a great physically defensive set against stuff like Azumarill, like I said, Snorlax, my only line of defense pretty much against those kind of things, and it's also really good against Landorus, as it can take 2 Adamant Earthquakes with ease, so really excited to use this. Next up, we got Electra, my Greninja, with the Darkin EMZ, Torrent, Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, and U-Turn, with 28 HP, 4 defense, 4 special defense, max special attack, and 220 speed with a Timid Nature. This set pretty much outspeeds his entire team, which is super nice. Literally nothing outspeeds it unless it is Choice Scarf, which is amazing. Hydro Pump pretty much hits everything on his team except for like the Snorlax kind of eats up Hydro Pumps, and the Azumarill eats up Hydro Pumps obviously because it's a water type, and I'm pretty sure that's it, but Hydro Pump's pretty free against him. Otherwise, Dark Pulse is obviously there for stuff like Sableye, even though I guess Hydro Pump hits harder, but it's there for Sableye, it's there for the Necrozma, especially with the Darkening Z, and it's also obviously there for the Metagross. If he is max HP and 4 special defense, like a 252 4 set on the Necrozma, Darkening Z still gets him most of the time. It's a roll, but if he's that bulky, which I don't expect him to be, I kind of expect him to be more of an offensive set, so I don't expect him to live that. So Darkening Z is really nice just to nuke that thing, and also the Mega Metagross it can nuke, so I thought that was really nice. Ice Beam is obviously there just to hit stuff like the Chestnut and the Landorus a little bit harder, and then U-Turn is just obviously for nice pivot. It was Gunk Shot at one point, but I thought the pivot was way nicer, and I do have the top affinity, so I don't really need to worry about the Azumarill that much, so I think it's fine. So like I said, this thing is really good against this team. Pretty much, if you just look at this team that I'm bringing, it's pretty much just hyper offense. Usually I don't like to run teams like this. I usually like to run really bulky teams with just a few offensive threats, but this week I kind of was forced to, as you know, I'm pretty much the game plan going into this is keeping the momentum on my side, because if I lose it, it's hard to really get back for this team. So the play is just to keep momentum on my side as much as possible, just keep the game going at a fast pace, and just kind of break down everything as I go. So like I said, this set's going to be really nice, with the Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, and Ice Beam being my primary attacks, just pretty much hitting everything on this team super effectively. So yeah. Next up, we got Angel the Jirachi with the Shuka Berry, Spring Grace, Iron Head, Ice Punch, and U-Turn with the Thunder Wave, with 222 or 228, excuse me, HP, 108 attack, 76 defense, and 4 special defense with 92 speed and a Jolly Nature. This I can't. I'm trying to think right now what this outspeeds. I think it out. Oh, I believe it outspeeds Timid Necrozma. I believe that's what outspeeds. Yeah, that's what outspeeds. So this outspeeds Timid Necrozma. Originally, this was a 252 offensive set, but or basically that, it was a little bit different, but that's basically what it was. But I decided to change it up as you know, a bulkier set. I thought after doing my mocks, I thought a bulkier set would be a lot nicer. Especially since this can take 2 Earthquakes from a Metagross, I believe, a Jolly Metagross, and it can take Earth Powers or Earthquakes from a Necrozma. So I'm really excited to use this. It has an Iron Head and Ice Punch as its primary attacks. It pretty much hits everything outside of the Metagross, but Metagross I can Thunder Wave, and it also doesn't hit the Salazzle, but I can Thunder Wave it if I predict it, to switch in, which I don't really expect it to hard switch in. And the U-turn's obviously just nice for pivot. If I can get into a good position, I can just pivot out and out if I start to switch or whatever. So like I said, this is gonna be, it's kind of a win con. It's not really a win con. My primary win con is the Gallade if I can get rid of the Landorus, but because that's pretty much the only thing stopping Gallade. So this thing is just kind of there to help whittle stuff like Gallade down and stuff like that. So finally, we have Wasp, our Bombi with the Focus Sash, Shield Dust, Moonblast, HP Ice, Quiver Dance, and Defog with 44 HP, 4 defense, 4 special defense with max special attack, and 204 speed with a Timid Nature. So obviously, like the Greninja, this outspeeds his entire team, unless it is Choice Scarf. I'm not running Sticky Webs this week, as I don't see them that necessary, as most of his things that would be like Choice Scarf are off the ground, so I don't think they'll be that necessary if I brought them. So I decided to leave them on the bench this week. And originally this slot was Gliscor with a Stealth Rock and Defog set, but I just didn't think it was that useful. I thought it was just kind of dead weight, so I changed it to this. So with the Focus Sash, it obviously can live any one hit from full HP. It has a Defog, obviously, because I need removal, as my team is pretty weak to rocks this week, at least, having the Rabombi and the Chandelure. So I needed the removal, and then Quiver Dance obviously is for the sweeping potential. But the Moonblast, to be honest, Moonblast plus Hidden Power Ice isn't the best coverage, as like stuff like Salazzle walls it, like a Savali Steel or something like that, or Savali Poison walls it, Metagross walls this. But you know, he doesn't know that, so I could be running Hidden Power Ground, I could be running Bug Buzz. Necrozma kind of walls it, but if I can get up to +1, then Moonblast 2-shots it without having to activate the weakness policy. So I thought that was kind of nice. So this thing also is pretty much just an offensive check to stuff like the Sableye, stuff like that. It also checks the, what else does he have? It checks. It's kind of a check to Necrozma. It doesn't really get walled by Necrozma. It's kind of a check to it, but it's not the best check in the world. But either way, so like I said, this team is pretty offensive. Kind of honestly, I don't really feel good about my matchup this week. It's kind of not a team style I like bringing, but we're just gonna have to roll with it. So anyways, guys, let's stop talking about this and let's just hop right into the battle. All right, guys, so we're back. So looking at the team he brought the Landorus T, the Sableye, the Necrozma, the Salazzle, the Silvally, which we don't know what type he is at this point, and the Snorlax. So looking at his team, I was extremely surprised to not see the Mega Metagross. Mega Metagross plus Landorus just kind of destroyed my team in all my mocks. So I was super happy not to see that thing. Other thing that I was surprised to see, I was surprised to see the Sableye, as I do have the Top Affinity, which always walls a Sableye. But you know, I'm not gonna be upset about that. So we're just gonna hop right into things. So based off of his team, I knew Greninja was always a free lead. He probably most likely leads his Scarfer, whatever that may be, which was obviously most likely going to be either the Salazzle or the Landorus. So if he leads Landorus, I know he's most likely going to be Scarfed. So I'm going to skip a little bit forward here. So we're going to lead the Greninja, like I said, and if we do see a Landorus lead, we will most likely be able to confirm that he is Choice Scarfed, as you don't really lead Landorus unless if he is, or unless if he just wants to step rocks. So he is leading the Landorus, so I 100% expected this thing to be Scarfed, but I expected him to think I'm Scarfed, so I just go for the U-turn here, as I didn't expect him to want to stay in, as I could just OHKO him with an Ice Beam if I would have stayed in. So I do go for the U-turn, just kind of playing to the fact that I might be Scarfed, as he does just go out into the Snorlax, which I thought was 100% okay. And so I'm just going to go on to my G.O.A.T here, as I can knock off pretty freely on anything he wants to go out into, as he does just go out into his Savali. And so based off of those wings, I know that's not normal type, and after this turn, I'll tell you he's a steel type. So if I would have just clicked close combat here, I would have OHKO'd this thing and gotten a free KO on turn 2, which was wild to me that he made that play, but you know, it was a good play because I went for the knockoff. It does about 20%, as I learned he's not that bulky, as he just is going to go for the out into the Landorus, as I do just click the close combat. So he's making really good plays on the first couple turns, reading me like a book so far, which is kind of annoying, but you know, we do a solid 20-25% to this Landorus. We get our defenses dropped, but that's not big of a deal because we can easily switch out into something like Tapu Fini, as we will here. So we're going to go out into our Tapu Fini off of this Mega Glade on this Landorus, as I do expect him to just want to click something like U-turn or Earthquake, and I can eat those up. So he does just click the U-turn, which is totally fine. And based off this damage, I kind of, that was either a high roll for Adamant, or excuse me, a low roll for Adamant or a mid roll for Jolly. So I kind of expected that to be more of a Jolly set, which kind of makes sense, as like it outspeeds like a Timid, Chandelure, Scarfed, or something like that. But he will off the U-turn go onto his Salazzle, so I'm forced to switch out, and I go onto my Pyro, the Chandelure. I can eat whatever he wants to go for, as long as he's not going for Hidden Power Ground or something weird like that, which I don't expect him to have, as I do have two things weak to Ice. And so based off that damage, I can tell he's Timid, just max special attack Timid, and I do 100% expect him to double out into something like Snorlax, so I do just go back out into my Mega Glade, but he makes a really ballsy play and goes for the Fire Blast, which really works out for him, as it does bring me below half. And if I would have just stayed in, I would have gotten the Flash Fire Boost and just kind of been able to wreck things, because a Fire Blast, even if I don't have the Flash Fire Boost, still 2-hit KOs this thing. So I just am forced to go back out into my Chandelure, as he does just click the Sludge Wave again, which is super annoying. But here I'm just going to click the Fire Blast, as I don't expect him to stay in this time, as I'm kind of saw what he wanted to go for. So he does go on to Snorlax, as I do click the Fire Blast. So based off that damage, I expected him to kind of be like just a thick, fat, like kind of bulkier set. I didn't really calculate. It was kind of hard to calc off that. So here I'm going to go into my Tapu Fini, which is always my Snorlax check. He also didn't bring the Zimmerl. I forgot to mention that, which was super awesome. But he does double out and makes an amazing double backhand into Salazzle. I'm like, crap, this is so annoying. Like, he just has all the momentum in the world at this point and just kind of is reading me like a book. So I kind of have to start making plays. So here I go out into my Jirachi, as I do expect him to click Sludge Wave, as Sludge Wave was pretty much free on everything that wasn't Jirachi, so I just went into Jirachi. If he went for Fire Blast, great play, but I didn't expect him to do that. And he actually switches out here, as I do just go for the U-turn. Oh no, I double out. So he goes back out into his Salazzle, as I double out into the Chandelure, expecting this Savali. Also, if he stayed in, it's not that bad of a play. So here I'm just going to Fire Blast again. I believe I Fire Blast again. Yeah, I Fire Blast again, and I missed this time, which is super annoying, but it's whatever, as I can just easily go back out into my Tapu Fini. Or, excuse me, I go on to my Jirachi first, because I am Sugar Berry, so even if he's an Earthquake set, I can eat those. So here we see, based off this damage, he does, what is that? Does about 62 HP to me. So based off that damage, I can tell through the Sugar Berry that he's max attack adamant and got one of the highest rolls possible. So here I'm just gonna Thunder Wave, just kind of cripple this thing. Hopefully I can start Thunder Wave Iron Heading it, but I do unfortunately miss. And he does go for the Earthquake again, and he does get another high roll. So I was kind of expecting like Muscle Band or something at this point, especially since I wasn't seeing leftovers. But I do just go for the Thunder Wave, expecting to sack my Drachi here, which was totally fine. But he actually does just get paralyzed. So here I expected him to want to preserve this because it's really good against my team. So I'm just going to U-turn, but he does in fact stay in, which is fine because I can easily go out into my my Tapu Fini here again. So I'm going to go out into my Tapu Fini, like I said, as he is now paralyzed. And he is just going to go for the Earthquake again, which was 100% expected, but I didn't really have a better switch in this thing. So we're going to eat that up, and we can tell off that damage that he's just pretty much max attack adamant. That was pretty much like a low roll for max attack adamant, so that's what we're just going to bank off of at this point. And so here I'm just going to go for the Scald. I'm going to see it's doing about like 5%, like that's ridiculous. And he has a Gunk Shot. So he has Body Slam, Earthquake, and Gunk Shot. So at this point I'm like, okay, he has to be a Assault Vest based off of the lack of damage and this coverage that he has. So here I'm just going to go for the knockoff as I do have it. It'll bring him below half, and if he is Figgy Berry for some reason, it will get rid of that, but he is the Assault Vest like I expected. And so he's just going to go for the Body Slam, break through the paralysis again, and just KO me. But here I'm going to go out into my Mega Gallade as Close Combat was pretty much my only play. I didn't really have anything else I could go into at this point, so I'm just going to click Close Combat as he does just give me the Snorlax, which I thought was 100% fine. You know, the Snorlax is being a really big pain in my butt, so really glad I could get rid of this. As he is just going to go back out and just Landorus, get the Intimidate off on me. So yeah, so he's going to get the Intimidate off, and I obviously can't stay in because I have my lower defenses, plus he is Choice Scarf at this point, I believe. So I'm just going to go out into my Drachi, just stack that thing off. Not a whole lot of stuff I can do against it. So he's just going to go for the U-turn as, you know, I have to sack my Jirachi, but at least I get free momentum. Just kind of seeing what he wants to go out into here, as he does just go out into the Silvally Steel. So here I can freely go out into my Chandelure, as nothing on his team really wants to take a Fire Blast at this point. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's just click Fire Blast here. It's pretty much a no drawback play. So I'm just going to click Fire Blast, and I will Oko this Silvally Steel, which is perfect. So it's just kind of clearing the way for my bigger threats late game. Like this plus Snorlax being gone lets Greninja put in the finest of work, so I'm super happy about that. So here he is going to go out into his Landorus, as I will just sack this thing to the Landorus, just kind of confirm if he's Choice Scarfed or not. And we do see that he outspeeds me, so he is Choice Scarfed, which was expected. And so here I have no choice but to go into my Ribombee. So I'm going to go out to that. And as we do know he is Choice Scarfed, I didn't expect him to stay in. So I do double back out into my my Necrozma, as the only bad matchup that that Ribombee had was against the Greninja had was against the Landorus, since it was Choice Scarfed. So I just doubled out into my Greninja. And here I can get the free Dark EMZ off. Even if he switch out, this pretty much nuked whatever he switched out into, so I was okay with clicking this here. And even if he's like a 252 set, or 252 4 set, this Oko's most of the time anyways, so I just click it here. We're just going to let this animation run. So he's going to be taking up into that black hole, and as we do see, he does get Oko'd by this, so I expected him to kind of be an offensive set just based off the fact that I Oko'd, or just like not super bulky. So here he's going to go out into his Landorus, and I knew if he was Jolly, which I was kind of expecting based off the prior calcs that he was Jolly, I could Oko this thing. Hold on, let me pause it real quick. So based off of the prior calcs, I knew if he was Jolly, he wouldn't be able to Oko me, and I could Oko him back. And even if he went for a U-turn, nothing wanted to take a Hydro Pump at this point. So I am just going to click Hydro Pump, as he does click the Earthquake. So if, like I said, if he's Jolly, it's never going to KO. But if he's Adamant, it has about I believe it was like a 56% chance to KO. So that roll wasn't in my favor, but like a mid roll let me live, so it wasn't that big of a deal. So he is gonna Earthquake here, and I am just gonna hang on with my invisible Focus Sash and just click the Hydro Pump and be able to KO this thing. And so talking to him after the battle, we do learn that he was in fact adamant. So I did get one of the lower mid rolls, but you know, he got the higher rolls with the Earthquake, so I'm not really that upset about it. But so here he's gonna go into Sableye, and I know it can go on to my Ribombee 100% of the time. No need to sack the Greninja here, as it does handle the Salazzle late game. So he's just going to go for the Dazzling Gleam, as I will just click Moonblast just to try to get as much damage off as I can. So he's just going to go for that, as he's going to go out into Salazzle, and I'm just going to click Moonblast. And so here, it's going to do about like 10%, but he actually gets a special attack drop, which I knew based off of that he would want to switch back out, expecting me to switch out. So I knew he would want to switch back out here, so I'm just going to Moonblast again as he does switch back out, and I knew 10 out of 10 times I OHKO this thing with Moonblast. So I get the free KO with Moonblast on the Sableye unless if he's Focus Sash, which he isn't. So that was 100% perfect, and at this point, as long as I hit a Hydro Pump with my Greninja, I win the game, or as long as he's not like a Flame Charge set. So those were the kind of things I was banking off at this point. So I just go for the Moonblast, just get some more chip on this thing. Trying to put him in Dark Pulse range, but at this point I knew I couldn't really do that. So he's just going to go for the Sludge Wave, so he's not a Flame Charge set, which is perfect, and it will OHKO me, which is 100% okay. So here I go freely out to my Greninja, and like I said, as long as I don't miss this Hydro Pump, I win this game 10 out of 10 times. Even if he's like Barry. So I do click Hydro Pump, and we do connect, so we do win this game 2-0. That roll on the Greninja with the invisible Focus Sash, it mattered, but you know, he got some rolls in other places and stuff like that, and so I'm not really like upset about it. I don't really feel that bad about getting that roll. So anyways, good game to Master Roshi, really great battler. If he has a YouTube, I'll link it down in the description. I'll find that out for you guys. But anyways, hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe if you guys are new, leave a comment down below, hit that bell notification, all that fun stuff. And anyways guys, I shall see you all next time.